Well, hi there, everyone. Welcome to a stock market update for Monday, September 20th, 2021. It's a day, I haven't seen a day like this in a long time. It's a day where every single one of our top stocks was down. Every single one of them, and including BioNTech, which I will talk today, which is a new one for our list. But pretty amazing day. It's a pullback day, basically. It's money coming out of the system today for what could be a multitude of reasons. It looks like there was somebody's going to default on debt in China, I think, and some creditors were concerned about that and reshuffling some money on top of people concerned about whether or not the Federal Reserve will taper some bond buying and put less money into the system or continue what they've been doing, which has been helping to supply the market with more liquidity and more funds. So money came out. There was some, niceness, I guess, at the end of the day. Some things that had pulled back by around 3 o'clock Eastern cleaned themselves up a little better by 4, which makes me think that, I would just totally be speculating, but there's no real reason to pull stuff out other than people shuffling money around. So when you see a day like this with everything down, I started buying late in the day because I knew that I was going to be doing this video and I was going to say, you know what, it's a good time to buy some stuff. So let's talk about what I bought, and then we'll see if we continue a slide later in the week and the nervousness get more nervous, or whether things pick back up again because there's still a lot of money in the system and still a lot to do. I don't know. We'll find out. So our big ones today: Moderna down, not as much as a lot of the rest of them. BioNTech down a ton, and that's why I want to talk about BioNTech today because I bought them. So my 2 top stocks are mRNA-based technology companies, obviously dealing in vaccines. You know, that's the main thing we've been talking about recently. But this technology is going to be treating human disease in a molecular way. It's the way you want to do it. And when you start to think about things that kill people and debilitate people, you realize that attacking a lot of those potential negative health outcomes with a vaccine or with treatment like this is a huge advantage for all types of things. Think about your HIV, your even certain types of cancers like melanoma. There's all types of things that can be treated and training, priming your immune system. So these 2 companies here, BioNTech is Germany based, I believe, and the revenue is just off the charts because everyone's realizing that we're all going to be using this. I've done a dissertation about how we changed the world over the last 18 months dealing with the pandemic, and how all of a sudden we decided that humans being able to be alive and in generally reasonably good health is how we're going to structure the entire world economy and how we interact if you think about what happened over the pandemic. And so knowing that, you can see the companies that are providing the support to that health system are going to have unbelievable gains. When you look at them over the last 6 months, you start to see a longer, more of a understandable trend of what these companies are going to be doing. And as we get into the fall, that'll load in a second, but as we get into the fall and people get sicker because of the vitamin D situation and the way we deal with the virus, there's just going to be more desire and need to do this, because as soon as it affects you personally, you understand the value of the vaccine. And so every day that you see a news story about, somebody in a rural town losing a loved one, unfortunately, and then realizing that they should have gotten vaccinated, all that, it takes a while to kind of flow through society, but when it does, then you see charts like this because you realize the value of a product like this. So BioNTech's got just exploding revenues. They're the ones that partnered with Pfizer. And Pfizer stock is rather sluggish, and it's because BioNTech is the brains behind the mRNA technology for the vaccines. I mean, Pfizer, I guess, didn't have it sitting around like doing what Moderna is doing. Pfizer wasn't essentially ready for that, but Pfizer did understand the writings on the wall, and that's why they partnered with BioNTech. And you're going to see BioNTech continue to go up. Like having a day like this today, they'll be up over $400 a share probably almost before the end of the month. Just watch what happens with these companies when money really gets back into the system, because they're great for every reason, not just financially. because of what they do, but for what they do for the world, there's a reason for it. So, all right, they're on that list. Tesla takes a huge hit today, so I obviously bought some Tesla today. This is just, people pulling back from the market. I think maybe Kathy Wood came out. If you know Kathy Wood, she's made some great calls over the last few years. She took some money, I think, out of Tesla recently. People follow her around. There's no reason. It's not like Kathy Wood saying don't buy Tesla. She's just probably realizing they were up for a while. We'll take it. They'll go down for a while because of the short interest, and then they'll go back up again. So I bought some today because why not? Great company. Google, here Google was down over 3% at one point today and managed to only be down about 2%. I see them as cheap right now because they're supposed to be on their way to 3,000. And for them to be taking basically a $200 pullback over the last week, I know they have the labor law issue and stuff, but nobody ever cares about that. And companies and countries want Google working with them, so they don't want to put this kind of pressure on them about hiring people. I don't think it's a real story. Other than Sergey Brin, one of the founders, pulling out like $40 million, which is still a ridiculously small fraction of the shares that he owns. Other than that, I didn't see any real signs that anybody's thinking their stock's going to be going down. So I'm still super bullish on Google, and I think they will get to 3,000 before Halloween. So Amazon takes a hit today, so you can see how much cheaper they get getting away from 3,500. You can see some of these percentages got better today. That's why it was a time to buy. Netflix, nothing wrong with buying them. When fall and winter, it's colder. We're all going to be sitting around spreading COVID on the couch to each other, watching. I wish I could name a show. I pay for a Netflix subscription, and I never, ever, ever watch it. That's, they've got a great product. They just, I let everybody else use my account. Probably get in trouble, but they want to watch it, so that's why I subscribe. Walmart down for no reason. Yeah, just getting cheap. It's getting super cheap. That's they'll have a snapback day where they pop up to like 148 for no reason because they shouldn't be going down unless they're having supply chain issues that I'm not aware of. I'll actually do some research on that tomorrow. Sherwin-Williams cheap, right? Stuff getting cheap. Microsoft cheap at 294. Abbott Labs cheap, 124. You can see everything down. So when you see everything down like that, think people are pulling money out. Are they going to keep pulling money out, or are they just going to put the money back in? I don't see any reason why they're not going to want to put the money back in. That's what it looks like to me. So as for tomorrow, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. Let's look at Brooks Automation. So I gave some advice a few weeks ago. I'll go dig up the video. I gave some advice a few weeks ago. How do we do this in Google Sheets? BRKS. So Brooks Automation, I told you, chip shortage, this company's got great financials, keep an eye on them, buy a $125 $100 call option. Is how much it cost back when I said to buy it. It was $125 to buy a $100 call option on Brooks Automation for October 15th. I did do this because I said, everybody do it. I just bought one and spent a lot of money. Spent $125. I sold it for $150 like a week later probably. And I said, I still really like this company. I was just repositioning my cash because I wanted to buy something else. And I was like, I'll just sell it because it was up, 10%, 20%, whatever it was. So, that was dumb. And if you listen to my advice and you bought Brooks, today you have an option that's worth like almost $1,000. I think the option's worth somewhere in $700 or $800 range right now. Because they're over 100, they're in the money at this point. So they've got $245 worth of intrinsic option value at a strike price of 100. If any of you know some options terminology here, they've already got some money built in because they're over $100 a share, and you've still got almost a month left on that option. And they had a great day today because they announced why? Because they announced that they're selling their chip division for $3 billion. And when I saw that this morning, I thought, son of a gun. I go, my luck, I sell the thing right before the thing goes up 10 times its value in one day, right? And I looked at their market cap, and here I saw this market cap at $7.6 billion, and I thought they're cleaving off 40% of their value, but they're getting paid. They're getting $3 billion for it. I go, I don't know what the longer term future for Brooks is going to look like, given that they're kind of selling the golden egg right now, right? And I'm sure certainly personnel are going to be locked into contracts or whatever division they're selling. These people are going to be working for somebody else. So I do understand why this is a super awesome liquidity issue for books, and they'll probably go up again maybe tomorrow or the next day. But there's a limit on this, and I don't know what they do after they function. You know, what's the rest of the business model if they're going to get rid of such a hot area of their business right now? So that's a big question mark. But certainly you benefit purchasing that option that I mentioned, even though I didn't benefit as much as I should have. Hopefully you still have it. Now's a good time to sell it, in my opinion. Because you got a great return, and I don't know what the future essentially holds for them now. So that was interesting today. So we had some movement on that. And is there anything else we want to talk about? Big gainers, big losers? Is there anything that made money today? The answer is a little bit. Discovery Communications. I didn't look at this before I did the video. You know me, I was not planning. But I don't understand this. I don't know what's going on here. Discovery. The guy that owned Discovery had like a huge property out in Colorado. It was almost like a Wild West type amusement park, outside, like a natural amusement park. They really built it out. I've driven out to that area. It's like near Montrose, California, I think it is, near Telluride or out west there. It's beautiful. And that guy's kind of crazy. Whenever I see Discovery, I think of that guy, and I just don't know about them. Apparently there's a lot of goodwill in their books, which makes me think that's a lot of just perceived value. It isn't really cash. So I stay away from something like this. And they're up 45%. I don't know what's going on there. This is a lot of junk. I mean, I got stay away on everything here except for Brooks. I mean, we know why Brooks was up. They're the fourth highest on our list of stocks we track for the day. Is there anything of interest here? I don't think so. I think it was a day where everybody... Big caps were pulling out. There was some of that on Friday, and it was again today. Will it happen again on Tuesday? I doubt it, right? I mean, we're going to keep pulling money out unless there's shock news coming out of the Fed, like they're going to raise rates and no bond buying. That would be really shocking news, and nobody really wants that, so I don't think that's what will happen. Let's see here. What was the worst losers for the day? Genco's Shipping and Trading, Carver Bancorp. I got a lot of stayaways on here, which is good. LiveX Live Media, down 10%. Yep. Broadway Financial. So, you could look at the industries here. It looks like financials got hit a little bit. I don't know. I'll stop blabbing about stuff I haven't talked about. In general, tomorrow, if you do one thing, I don't want to recommend a German company, but look into BioNTech, which had an abnormally bad day, and their long-term horizon is fantastic. So that's value. And Tesla as well. Tesla go down 4% after really modest gains last week, but steady gains. Just screams of people getting a little scared, and they're going to want to get right back into Tesla when they see it go up $15 or $20 a share in 10 minutes like they tend to do. So those are good, and Google's cheap, and whatever, you know the list. All right, so you can get access to this Google Sheet. I saw somebody hanging out in here today watching me do a little work. Yeah, I mean, you can see me update on the fly and take a look at price changes. We didn't have to adjust too many price changes today, other than I lowered Microsoft to below 300 and Sherwin-Williams to below 300, but just because they're hanging out in the 290s right now. So you don't want to make it look like they're too good, because even though they're going to be, like, Sherwin-Williams is going to go to 315 before the end of the quarter, you don't want to put them up here because they're not a better value than Google right now. So that's why I'll change these around, not necessarily substantially sometimes with their numbers, but just to get them in the right order for where I see value of the best purchases for options. So anyway, that's the stock market update. Let's go watch some football and see if Detroit can upset Green Bay. That's what my NFL algorithm says, and I'm excited to take a look at that game. So good luck, everybody. May all your trades be winning tomorrow. May the companies that keep us alive and healthy continue to prosper.